Peace and power, y'all. This is Baba Amin of the Uhuru Academy, and this is our morning build. Hope everybody's having a blacktastic week. It is Wednesday, May 9th, 2018. I'm going to invite a few friends in this morning. I hope everybody woke up walking in gratitude. You know, I wake up, I'm groggy. I wake up, I'm a little sleepy. I wake up sometimes and I want to go back to sleep. But I'm always grateful when I wake up. I'm grateful to wake up. I'm grateful to be able to wake up and have an opportunity to improve our condition as a people, to make a positive effect on the lives of others. I'm grateful to have that role. I'm grateful to have been used to bring about positive change in the lives of some beautiful individuals. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be able to work with our young people, to be able to teach. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful that I have beautiful children of my own. I don't take any of that for granted. Any of that. Now, do we have problems and issues and challenges? Absolutely. Absolutely I do. Right? Right? But woo, when I balance it with the blessings, man, I'm good. When I balance it with the great experiences that I've had in my life, when I balance it with the beautiful people that I've had the opportunity to meet in my life, you know, I can't do nothing but be grateful. And I'm talking about, I've met beautiful Africans in some of the most dangerous places. You know what I'm saying? I've met beautiful Africans in places where they say you ain't supposed to go. You know, in places where they say, don't nobody over there want nothing. Don't nobody over there want anything in life. I've walked into those neighborhoods, into those areas, and found some amazing people, you know, many of whom I still have a relationship, you know, and I'm grateful for my relationships. I'm grateful for all the positive relationships in my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for all the lessons that I've learned over the years just by being around people. You know, the world is your classroom, you know, so walk in gratitude. Good morning, Kefri. We got a couple students still rolling in here at the Uhuru Academy. Everybody else is hard at work on their creative writing this morning. We're working on persuasive papers this morning, you know. All right. I think Vincent's over there talking to himself. I'm not sure what's going on with that, huh? Okay. Oh, all right. Somebody must be at home looking for the remote. All right. So, all right. Vincent, I'm gonna ask you to kind of keep it down, get your stuff together over there. All right. Let's see. Just inviting a few people in. It's a beautiful day in Fort Worth, Texas. I don't know what it's like about you, where y'all at, but it's a beautiful day where we are right now. Beautiful day. And let me see here. I'm going to greet some of y'all as soon as I invite a few more people in this morning. You know, I just felt compelled to talk about our ancestors this morning. You know, I felt compelled. Satet. Peace, Nikita. Peace, Natasha Marie out there in Little Rock, Black and Pink Strong. You know what I'm saying? Peace to all of you. Peace to Brother Roy, you know, great brother right there as well. You know, sometimes I can't see the comments, y'all, because my little old laptop be behind, you know. So Cheryl Irvin, good morning to you. Greetings. Man, I know some beautiful Africans, man. I know some beautiful and powerful African people, Black people. Yeah, I know some beautiful African people, you know, and I'm grateful for that. Y'all bear with me. I appreciate your patience. We're going to get into this in just a second. And I promise I'm just getting prepared. I'm not like, oh, let me wait till there's a bunch of people in there. I ain't trying to do that. All right, let me see. Uh-oh, let me turn this volume down on my phone here. All right. Yes, now I can see the comments. You know, it's nice in Atlanta, huh, Gail? That's what's up. Y'all don't take none of it for granted. None of it. Tobiah Moore, good morning to you. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum, Nikita Muhammad. Good morning. You know, Bariza Asabuhi Jakuta, my conscious citizen comrade in the Republic of New Africa. You know, Musini Quingwa. Peace, brother. How you doing? All right. Man, let me tell y'all about our ancestors. Okay. Of course, people have been talking a lot about, you know, choices and that sort of thing. And we had the big discussion last week dealing with what Kanye was talking about and people saying slavery is a choice and why didn't they choose to fight back and that sort of thing. And really, this ain't a response to that, so to speak, because I talk about the ancestors all the time, you know, but I felt compelled this morning to just dedicate this morning bill to those who came before us, to those who made it possible for us to be who we are today, for those who make it possible for us to even be here to fight, to be here to complain about Black folk not coming together, Black folk not doing anything. Somebody fought, bled, and died just so you could be here to complain about what we're not doing. Somebody did something. Somebody had to do something. Somebody had to fight in order for you to even be here, you know. And I don't want us to ever lose sight of the fact that we come from some of the most resilient people recorded in human history. We come from them. We are them. Think about it. Just think for a second. You are your ancestors. Say it again. You are your ancestors. You come from your mother and father. They come from their mothers and fathers. They come from their mothers and fathers. They come from their mothers and fathers, and so on and so on and so forth. So when we speak of the ancestors, we're just talking about ourselves. It ain't nothing spooky. You are the culmination of millions of Africans coming together. That's who you are. That's what you are. So whatever that was in them was passed on to you. Right? So whatever was in them, the resilience, the spirit, the faith, the strength, the power, whatever that was in them is in you. Now, yeah, are there flaws? Are there flaws in you as well? Absolutely, right? But that's why we have to study our ancestors. And that's why learning our story is so important, because if you learn a story that shames your ancestors, you're learning a story that's shaming you. If you learn a story that tells you you come from slaves, if I say that your beginning is in slavery, that's where your ancestors came from slaves, then I'm saying that's what you are. I'm saying that that's your natural position. That's your original position in the world, is being a slave to Europeans and Arabs and others. But that's not who your ancestors were. Your ancestors were not slaves. Your ancestors, our ancestors, were enslaved. They were prisoners of war, a war that had losses on both sides, not just one side. They wasn't just walking around an African village and a mighty white man swooped in and scooped them up, you know, with ease and walked them to the slave dungeon and walked them to the slave ship and didn't get no pushback, didn't get no fight back. No, no, no. There's a lot of European blood on African soil. The European paid a heavy price trying to penetrate Africa. It took him centuries to penetrate Africa. It took them centuries to get us to the point to where we were vulnerable enough to be enslaved. It took them centuries of not only physical war, but spiritual war as well. They had to convert Africans to their team, because there's never been a European nation that could conquer an African nation without African help. So they had to penetrate through education. They had to penetrate through spiritual manipulation in order to even get in the door with our ancestors, okay? Once they did that and they introduced a wave of violence like never before seen in human history, they were able to take some of our people. They didn't take everybody. They took some of our people. They were able to bring some African nation states to their knees. They were able to do that, but man, they paid a heavy price. They paid a heavy price, and they just won some battles. They ain't won the war because the war ain't over yet. Let me tell you about our ancestors. See, your ancestors predate slavery. Your ancestors go back to the beginning of time. Your ancestors, you belong, we belong as a people to the oldest lineage, the oldest bloodlines on the planet. On the planet. See, I'm talking about that slavery thing, and that's been going on for a little bit over 500 years, right? Right, and I'm including slavery and the Jim Crow era. That includes colonialism in Africa, the whole 9 yards. That's been going on a little bit over 500 years. This Ma'afa, and Ma'afa is a term coined by Dr. Baba Amin, which means the great disaster. That's been going, a great disaster where our people have been lost, where our people have been enslaved and conquered and oppressed. That's been going on for a little bit over 500 years. Man, that's just a commercial in our history. That's just a commercial break in our history. Ancient Kush had golden ages that lasted longer than this Ma'afa. Huh? We had kingdoms that lasted longer than this Ma'afa. Ethiopia is older than this Ma'afa. We have bloodlines older than this Ma'afa. This does not define us. And we have to study and learn the whole story so we can put this whole thing in its proper perspective. Your ancestors introduced the world to math, introduced the world to science. Your ancestors introduced the world to medicine. Imhotep, the world's first recorded multi-genius. Because you got to think about this. If Imhotep was a multi-genius, who were the people that taught Imhotep? And we're talking about a man that existed over 5,000 years ago in Nubia, a black man, architect of the first fully built, complete mass structure, mass pyramid in the world, the Step Pyramid at Saqqara, commissioned by a black king named King Zoser to build it. It's still standing today. A mathematical wonder, an architectural wonder, a spiritual wonder. See, our people were building temples thousands of years ago. Now go look at 5,000 years ago and see what was happening within Europe. See what Trump's ancestors were doing 5,000 years ago. And look at what your ancestors were doing 5,000 years ago. And tell me you don't come from great stuff. And tell me you don't come from the stuff that kingdoms are made of. Right? Let me tell you about our ancestors. By the time Europeans came into Africa and began to wreak havoc, African civilization was already old. Because people say, you know, what happened then, Baba, if we were so great? I can't go into everything. Read Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black Civilization. But one of the things is, man, we've been at this for a long time. We were old and ancient people by the time they came down there. There was dissatisfaction among African people. There was tribalism and disunity among African people. See, we can go back and study some of the things that happened that made our people vulnerable then and apply that now. But you come from great stuff. Queens like Queen Nefertari, who's painted on a tomb that's over 3,000 years old in a silk gown with her braids strolling down her back, playing a game of chess. Ooh, I think it was called Satat then, if I got the name right. You come from a great people. You come from the ancient Kushites. Ooh, pyramid builders, temple builders, kingdom builders, the great queens of Merowe. There's so much to study. There's so many ancient African kings and African queens to study. You know, we learn all about Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria, King George, King James. Matter of fact, you study a Bible that has King James' name on it, the King James version of the Bible. But King James ain't never wrote a scripture. Never. And the people that the Bibles, the books that he approved to go in the Bible wasn't written by Europeans either. Shakespeare may have translated it, but it wasn't written by Europeans. All that ancient wisdom came off the walls of ancient Kemet, ancient Kush, ancient Nubia, all of it. You've been worshiping black gods your whole life. You end your prayer with amen. Let me tell you about your ancestors. You end your prayer with amen. If you're Muslim, you say Amin. That's a black god, Amin. Amin Ra, a black god. Worshipped by black people. Europeans were so in awe in what we taught that they couldn't completely throw away the teachings. They had to adopt them. They had to co-opt them. They couldn't create nothing. They had to co-opt what we were already doing. And it's like you sneak worshiping a black god. You give your prayer power by ending it with the name of a black god. That was laid down by your ancestors. Those are spiritual systems created by your ancestors. Some of you are Muslim. Some of you are Hebrew. Some of you are Christian. Some of you are Rasta. Some of you practice Ifa, Yoruba. All that comes up out of your people. All of that comes from you. So don't talk about why your people didn't fight. What you mean? Your people been surviving and fighting and creating and building since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. Because your spiritual system, that's all about survival. The belief systems, learning how to cooperate with nature, that's all about survival. And your people, our ancestors, wrote those and developed those survival systems that the whole world continue to use. Asian people didn't create Confucianism. Confucius didn't create Confucianism. They didn't create Buddhism. All of that is adapted from ancient African spiritual systems, your ancestors. Let me tell you about your ancestors. And then when we did fall from grace on the continent, those of us brought here, those of us that had to deal with colonialism, like the people of the Congo, and when Belgium invaded and King Leopold invaded and killed millions of Congolese people, extracting the rubber out of the Congo and taking it back up to Belgium and making Belgium one of the richest nations in the world. Our people persevered through that. They didn't lay down. They fought the best they could, but sometimes situations can get so bad that survival is fighting. That now our story has to survive. Now we have to make sure people remember who we are. Now we're gonna have children, we're gonna procreate, bring them into this horrible world, and we got to teach them how to navigate it, teach them how to survive it, because if we can't beat the enemy today, they'll be able to beat them in the future. So some of us have to survive. Survival is not cowardice. If you're surviving by throwing your own people under the bus, that's what cowardice is. But most of our people survive by endurance. They didn't survive by selling each other out. They didn't survive by just kowtowing and kissing up to massa. They survived via endurance alone. We had ancestors that frowned at their oppressor from the time they was born to the time that they transitioned. That rebelled, but they had to survive. They survived for the people that were connected to them. They survived for their wives. They survived for their children. They survived, and they taught a revolutionary message. Hold on, hang on, stick to each other, love one another. They can't break our spirit. They can't break our unity. They can break our bodies. We won't completely let them have our mind. We won't let them sever our belief in the unseen, our belief in the creator, our belief in morals and values. We won't allow them to turn us into them. And that's been the biggest fight throughout the whole Ma'afa. Is the fight to prevent us from becoming them. And yes, many of us have. Many of us have, but many of us have not. A lot of us have not. And a lot of us have to some extent, and you're still redeemable. You still got some African in you. Those are our ancestors. You come from people who survived a trip on a slave ship, a 150-day trip on a slave ship, in the hull of a ship, with barely enough room to breathe, chained to one another, men separated from the women, children separated from the adults, savage, beast-like people, raping and murdering and maiming, taking advantage of men, women, little boys, and little girls. On the water, sailing to a place unknown. You don't know what these people are going to do. You don't know if they're going to enslave you. You don't know if they're going to eat you. You don't know what's going to happen. The person you chain to might throw both of y'all overboard when they let y'all come up top to stretch. Many chose to jump overboard. And it wasn't a cowardly move. It was a revolutionary move for them to jump overboard because they actually believed that their spirit was going to return to the motherland. That was bravery. They didn't fear transitioning into the ancestral realm. But then some chose to survive. We don't call that cowardice either. They chose to survive because they said, you know what? This too is temporary. This too shall pass. I'm not only going to live in this body. I'm going to come back and I'm going to live in another body. I'm going to see this thing get turned around. That's how I characterize my ancestors. They weren't weak. They weren't dumb. They were good people taken advantage of by wicked people. They were good people taken advantage of by people that was inhumane, by people that didn't understand that there's enough for us to share, by people that didn't understand, by people that chose to be a virus to humanity. Now that's who made a choice. That's who made a choice. Our people weren't inferior. They were superior beings. They were superior beings brought low by inferior beings. Inferior beings that broke the rules of humanity. Time limit on this. It's a time limit on this. This ain't built to last. Capitalism ain't built to last. White rule ain't built to last. You will not rule the world with violence and dominance and fear forever. It's not built to last. And our ability to survive, our ability to continue to grow in spite of what's going on with us is amazing. Think about it. They run everything. Well, they run a lot of things, and our population is still growing, and it's outgrowing theirs. And our population is only outgrowing theirs because our ancestors kept fighting. Survival is fighting. Survival is fighting. When they look and you see as devastated as Kenya has been, as devastated as the Democratic Republic of Congo has been, the population is still growing. You can't stop us. Every one that dies, 5 more born. As devastated as we've been, we've gone through slavery, but we've made love and made babies through slavery. We've gone through Jim Crow, but we still made love and made babies through Jim Crow. Huh? We're going through the police terrorism and second-class citizenship now, but we still making love and making babies. Crack cocaine epidemics, AIDS epidemics. Look at our population growth. Infant mortality rate through the roof, but look at our population growth. Europe is turning brown. That's why do you think white nationalism is on the rise? Why do you think Dylan Roof, when he was murdering those people in the church, murdering our brothers and sisters in the church, said, I have to do this, y'all taking over? Because no matter what they do, they can't ethnically cleanse us. No matter what they do, we survive. And then when they get so mad, when they start laying down with us, them babies start coming out blind. We've been fighting with a cultural and genetic bomb that they haven't been able to cure yet. Hell, we're their medicine. They need your melanin. They need your organs. Let me tell you about our ancestors. You come from good stuff. You come from good stuff. There's no reason why children can't dominate in math, dominate in science. There's no reason why children can't be architects and doctors and landowners and farmers. We come from that. We don't come from slavery. They needed you on that plantation. You were the best farmer on the plantation. Black woman, you were the best doctor and midwife and healer on the plantation among these superior people. You were the best builders, the best horseshoe maker, the best animal domesticator. You were. You were. And you were that before you. They didn't train you to be that. It was built in your cultural DNA to be that. Had to be a civil rights movement. There had to be a new Negro movement. Man, you came up out of slavery in 1865, kicking butt and taking names. Kicking butt and taking names. And yes, there were a gang of revolts during slavery in the Carolinas and Texas and Arkansas and Georgia, Mississippi, Virginia. Everybody got a taste during slavery. Everybody, yeah, white folks lost their lives during slavery. They don't show you that side of you. They don't show you Haiti. They don't show how Haitians rejected the European concept and idea of God and spirituality and accepted their own and overthrew the French, whooped the British. They don't tell you that. They don't show you that side of yourself, but those are your ancestors. Ooh. So when people talk about we ain't fight, We didn't do, it's ridiculous. Learn the story. If you learn the story, our survival is fighting. I'm fighting right now. This is fighting. I'm fighting for your African mind. I'm fighting for your self-love. Because we can't do anything for ourselves if we don't first love ourselves. If we don't first accept ourselves. If we don't say, you know what, we deserve to be the best. We deserve to own the stores in our community. We deserve that. We deserve a nation of our own, communities of our own. We deserve that. We deserve our own educational institutions. We deserve that. We deserve relationships, business relationships with Africans throughout the globe. We deserve that. We deserve to be at the table of humanity, sitting there with respect and power. We have to deserve it first. We have to feel like we deserve it. Enough of this talk about what we can't do, what we're not going to do. One thing I can't stand is when I see a red, black, and green avatar and I see a comment like, this is why we'll never come together. I'll be wanting to rip the red, black, and green off your avatar. The red, black, and green flag is about upliftment. It's about African pride. It's about African unity, African love. It's about believing in ourselves as African. It's about believing in an African God. It's about believing in our future and being committed to building a positive future for ourselves. And don't go talking about white folks. No, it's not about them. What humanity don't understand is that an empowered African people helps the whole world. They don't understand that us being empowered helps them too. They don't understand that. They don't get that. But it's not our job to convince them that an Africa for the Africans benefits the whole world. That's not our job. We have to convince ourselves of that first. That in order to bring balance to this, that's why people say, I love everybody. I love everything. You would fight like hell to free Africa if you loved everybody. Africans would be your priority. Africans across the world would be your priority if you loved everybody. Why do you think humanity is thrown off balance? The white male ego is out of control because he has too much power. He's out of balance. He's like Set. See, I'm going to tell you about our ancestors. They wrote about it thousands of years ago. When somebody's out of place, and they put in a position that they're not ready or prepared to be in, everything is thrown out of balance. Your ancestors wrote about it thousands of years ago in ancient Kemet with the story of Aset, Osar, and Heru. Heru, hero. You got to go do your own research. But when Set was out of place, when Set was out of position, the world was thrown off balance. When he was defeated and not killed, put back in position, balance was restored, and even Set was happier. It's not easy being chief. Our ancestors laid that wisdom down thousands of years ago. Been on it. That's where you come from. That's who we are. And that's just some of it. Africans, man, Black people, man, we an amazing people, a resilient and amazing people. And we got to stop apologizing for it. We got to stop working so hard to find something to be ashamed of. We got to stop that. We got to balance this thing out. Y'all romanticize our history a little bit. Of course, I'm going to romanticize my ancestors' story. Of course, I'm going to do that. I'm an MC. I'm a rapper. I'm going to romanticize my ancestors. Do we come from flawed people as well? Absolutely. There were intermediate periods way back in ancient Kush where ancient Kush was thrown into chaos. There were periods during the great Renaissance in the West African kingdoms of Songhai and Mali and Ghana where things were thrown into chaos. But that don't cancel out the greatness, man. That doesn't cancel out the greatness. And if you find yourself, just give yourself a test. Put African greatness on one side, African flaws or African failures on the other side. Don't take no notes. Don't go to Google. and start writing your list. Writing your list of great things Africans have achieved on one side, then write your list on your complaints and the negative things you feel about Africans or our flaws and mistakes on the other side, and compare your list. If you come up with more specific flaws than you do African greatness, then you need to sign up for my adult African history class pronto. Just give yourself a test. Go European kings on one side, African kings on the other side. No notes, and see and compare. European queens on one side, African queens on another side. No notes, and just compare. European and Asian kingdoms on one side, African kingdoms on the other side. Make your list, no notes, compare, see where you at. European inventions on one side, African inventions on the other. No notes, just see where you at. Successful European military campaigns, including America's on one side. Successful African military campaigns on the other side. See, if your brain is full of Africans taking L's, of course you're gonna feel shame. But y'all, we done took so many W's. I'm telling you, European took a lot of L's from African people throughout the years, and Asian people. But you gotta study that. They're not gonna feed you. They don't want you to see that side of you. They don't want you to see that side of your ancestors. But I'm challenging you to do it. Go to AfricanAncestry.com, do the DNA. But there are also other websites that you can go to trace your specific lineage. Find out who your great-granddaddy and grandmama was, your great-great-granddaddy and grandmama, your great-great-great-granddaddy and grandmama. Unfortunately, for a lot of us here in America, Africans in America, we can go as far back as maybe the 1860s with specific ancestors. Then we just got to go get our DNA, right? But through African spirituality, I know some folk, and you can reach out to me, I connect you to them, that can give you a bloodline reading. You can get the records, get the DNA, then go to one of our African spiritual practitioners and get a bloodline reading and watch them stories match up. And that's where you're going to get your story. Who are you? Who were your ancestors? It's not their story to write. They wasn't there to see it. They wasn't reading and writing when Ptah was writing his book, one of the oldest books in the world, the Teachings of Ptah. They wasn't even writing yet. So they wasn't there to see that. They wasn't there when the book of Ani was written. They wasn't there. They wasn't there when the laws of Ifa and the Odu were the 256 Odu were revealed to the world. They wasn't there. So they ain't gonna write about that. You wrote about that. Your ancestors wrote about that. And that's what our children need to learn. That's what you need to learn. And if people can coexist with an awakened African people, an enlightened African people, the people who we've proven we're not a threat, we're not violent like that. But if people can't live with you being empowered, that's their problem. That's their problem. So, hey, peace and power, y'all. Support the Uhuru Academy at uhuruacademy.com. The donate button is at the top. We're not just building an African-centered school here in Fort Worth. We're building a global African-centered institution. We're going to use this internet. I want to come to your community and help you put a program in your community. Oh, man. It's so much we can do together. But I got to go. Our babies are doing the creative writing. They've been quiet and silent, taking care of their business this morning. We're going to go over their work and continue our day. I get to teach our children. We're a completely independent school. We don't get any funding from the government. We don't even ask for it. We believe that we're going to build this school. Just like Christians believe Jesus is coming back, I think African people are coming back. I think Black folks, if you could believe that somebody is in the sky looking out for you, I could believe that there's some melanated people on the ground looking out for me. And there are also melanated people in the afterlife, in the ancestor realm, that's looking out for us as well. Our ancestors see us. Our ancestors are inside of us. These eyes are my ancestors' eyes. And they're pleased with our work. And if you join our work, they'll be pleased with you as well. They're watching. We must honor them. not throw them away, not use words like, yeah, they was on the plantation. Why they didn't fight back? They had a choice. No, that was us. That was us. Name the event that disconnected you from them. Name the event that disconnected you from your ancestors. That where you can no longer, you don't have to claim them no more. That was in the past. You are the past. There is no you without the past. You are the past. You, your mom, and your daddy coming together. They mamas and daddies. We are the past. Name the event that made it where we could sit up here and say we are not our ancestors. What, the Emancipation Proclamation freed you from being connected to your ancestors? Maybe the Civil Rights Bill of 1965 freed you from being one with your ancestors. What freed you? Your money? Your good job? Did that free you from being, you're no longer your ancestors now, your enslaved ancestors that suffered so you could be here? You ain't them no more. What disconnected you from them? What makes us different? Gucci? What makes us different? It was somebody that looked just like you on that ship. It was somebody that looked just like you that was already here when they got here and got conquered. It was somebody that looked just like you that went through this. You are them. Their shame is your shame, but their victories are your victories. Their resilience is your resilience. Their power, their spirituality, their faith is your power, spirituality, and faith. Their rebelliousness is your your rebellion, put it like that. Nothing separates you from them. And you've been walking with the Creator longer than anybody. So I believe in God. I believe in the Creator. I believe in the ancestors. I believe in the Amun Ra, the seen and the unseen. Because my ancestors did. They wrote about it. It was the same. It wasn't spooky though. It was science. It was science. It was about balancing the universe. Those forces that we can see, control, and manipulate, and those forces we can't see, control, or manipulate, but that we can have a relationship with, like our environment. See, I believe in that. Our ancestors believed in it. It's good enough for me. We're going to be all right. And you need to walk around as if we're going to be all right. Not ignoring the issues, fighting the issues harder than they've ever been fought. Building harder than we've ever built before. Ooh. But not out of a response to racism, not out of an anger towards another people, but out of wanting to honor and revere and represent for the people who belong in the Bible, your ancestors. Well, they already in the Bible, but we need a new book because what Black folks went through in this country, in this Ba'afa, that's the stuff that scriptures are made of. You're a divine people. I gotta go. Have a great day. Peace and Black power. Oh, I'm gonna post some stuff we have here locally. We have a fundraiser coming up on May 20th. That's we're gonna have a first annual RBG chess tournament at the MVP Barber Lounge right here on McCart Avenue. I'm gonna put that flyer in the comments. We also have RBG Family Weekend coming up August 17th, 18th, 19th. Our big fundraiser of the year coming up in August here in Fort Worth, Texas. Many of you who are on the call or on the video, I know you planning to attend. We're gonna put some information up about that. Again, please support the Uhuru Academy. At uhuruacademy.com. Also, we have our adult program, Operation Reconnect. Anyone ages 16 and up that needs your high school diploma, get at me. That Operation Reconnect program that's for you. I'm graduating 3 Africans this week. You can't scream Black power if you don't empower Black people. Support Black businesses. If you are a Black business owner, please put your information in the comments. We have to spread the word if we don't spread the dollar. So please put your information in the comments for me. What else we got? Shout out to my beautiful wife and Koyobina. If you're in the DFW area and you need a doula, you're expecting and you need a doula, she is one of the best birthing coaches I've ever seen in my life. You're talking about a woman who had 3 children, natural, at home, after the age of 35. They're all healthy. and vibrant and eating up all my food, but she is truly a miracle woman and a miracle worker. She's also a professional loctician and braider. She's located at the MVP Barber Lounge here on McCart Avenue in Fort Worth, Texas. She'll be there today, I think between 2 and 6. For those of you who need to get your hair done. Y'all, we don't work, we don't eat, right? So if you support this message, I really would appreciate if you also support our business. All right. We have shirts and apparel for sale on our website. I'll be posting that information today as well. We're also available for weddings. We believe Black love is Black power. I am a licensed minister. And so if you are looking to tie the knot and you want an African-centered ceremony, get at me for that as well. We love bringing Black women and Black men together. You know what I'm saying? So definitely get at us for that as well. I also speak publicly. If you want this motivation in your community, you know, bring me in. Let's do it. There's no problem. We offer several workshops as well. So yeah. Shout out to all my comrades in Lone Star RBG. Shout out to Baba Amin. Shout out to Supreme Ra. Can't wait till the pull up. He's gonna be slanging wings in the community. So I can't wait for the pull up to launch. It'll be launching on the 20th as well. So we have a lot going on. We're not sitting on our hands. Thank you, Misty. Thank you. Give thanks to the ancestors. Black power to you. We're not sitting on our hands around here, around these parts. Shout out to Tahir RBG and T Ma'at and the whole Egungun Society for a great Akamalu Fest 2018 this year. It was truly an awakening experience, you know, and I just came back on fire, y'all. Just oh my goodness. So they're doing a wonderful spiritual work on our behalf. So seek out more information about Akamalu when you get an opportunity as well. If I shouted out to every African I knew that was doing great things, we'd be on here all day. But I got to go. I wish for you what I wish for myself. Black power. All right.